Welcome, beautiful soul, to Grace Over 50. Wherever you're listening from today, perhaps a quiet kitchen corner with your morning tea, or during a peaceful afternoon moment all to yourself, I want you to know this space was made for you. For the woman who has lived, who has grown, and who is still unfolding in the most exquisite way. Today, I want to invite you into a conversation you might not have expected. It's not about trends. It's not about fashion rules. It's not even about handbags. Not really. It's about you. And the quiet story your handbag may be telling the world about who you are, sometimes without you even noticing. You see, we often hold onto bags for years. We bought them when life was busier, children were younger, work was relentless, and they served us. They carried our essentials and sometimes our emotional weight too. But now, years later, have you ever stopped to wonder? Does this bag still reflect the woman I am today? Not just the woman I used to be, but the woman who's walked through decades of laughter, of loss, of love, of growth. Because the truth is, your handbag doesn't just carry your things, it carries your presence. And if it's pulling you down, hiding your grace, or whispering a style story that's decades out of date, then maybe, just maybe, it's time to choose something new. Not because you need to impress anyone. You don't. Not because you need to look younger. You don't. But because you deserve to be seen for who you truly are today, elegant, experienced, and radiant in your own quiet power. So let me ask you, have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like something was just a little off? You're wearing a beautiful coat, your shoes feel right, but there's this one piece, your handbag, that somehow doesn't belong. Maybe it's slouching off your shoulder, maybe it's covered in a logo that once made you feel stylish but now feels loud. Maybe it's just tired, and perhaps so are you. But here's the beauty. Style, especially after 50, isn't about starting over. It's about curating with intention. It's about keeping what elevates you and gently letting go of what no longer fits. Because at this stage, we don't wear things to be noticed. We wear them to feel grounded, aligned, at home in our own skin. And sometimes the very first step toward that feeling is a handbag that actually supports the woman you've become. So in today's video, we're going to explore the kinds of bags that might be silently aging you, hiding your beautiful silhouette, or simply weighing you down more than they lift you up. But more importantly, we'll discover what to carry instead, not just physically, but emotionally and stylistically. I'll share with you the 5 types of bags I believe every woman over 60 should thoughtfully reevaluate. And then I'll guide you toward graceful alternatives, bags that feel like companions, not burdens. Bags that don't overpower your presence but quietly reflect it. Bags that don't chase trends but echo timeless taste. Bags that don't make you feel like you're trying because, darling, you've already arrived. And just so you know, this is not a call to throw everything out. This is an invitation to choose more intentionally with love, to ask yourself not is this still in style, but does this still feel like me? Because when you find that one bag, the one that stands on its own with structure and softness, elegance and ease, you won't just look different. You'll walk differently. You'll stand a little taller. You'll feel more polished, even in jeans and a tee. You'll stop searching through your purse for your lipstick or glasses and start stepping into each room with presence. That's not fashion. That's self-respect wrapped in leather or canvas. And before we dive in, may I ask something small but meaningful? If you've ever felt that a simple shift, like changing your bag, made you feel more like yourself, would you share that moment in the comments below? Here at Grace Over 50, we're not just a channel, we're a community. A circle of women rising in grace together. And if you're new here, welcome, truly, I would love for you to join us. Just click that subscribe button so we can meet again week after week for conversations just like this, real, nourishing, and crafted just for you. And if this video speaks to you, a quiet like lets me know it made a difference. Because this isn't about algorithms, it's about connection. And your presence here matters more than you know. Now, if you're ready, let's begin with the first type of handbag you may want to release with love and the graceful alternative that's waiting to take its place. Because it's never just about what we carry, it's about how we carry ourselves. And you, my dear, deserve to carry nothing less than confidence, elegance, and joy. It's a curious thing. As we move through the years, we evolve, we soften, we deepen, we begin to live more deliberately. But sometimes the things we carry don't evolve with us, not because we've forgotten, not because we're holding on too tightly, but simply because we haven't stopped long enough to ask whether they still belong. There's a handbag in your closet, maybe one you've loved, maybe it's slouchy, soft, familiar. Maybe it has a little wear in the corners, a few creases in the leather. It's been everywhere with you, to the post office, the supermarket, the airport. It's held tissues, receipts, lipstick, and stories. And yet, have you ever looked at it lately and wondered, does this still feel like me? Because here's the quiet truth. As we grow older, structure becomes our friend, not just in how we live, but in how we dress. That soft, oversized tote that once made life easier might now be weighing you down, not just on your shoulder, but in your posture, in your presence. It sinks when you set it down, it collapses against your hip. It hides your waistline and sometimes your confidence too. It's not your fault, we've all been there. We carry bags that were right for who we were, but no longer speak to the woman we've become. So what does feel right now? Something with shape, with intention, a structured bag that stands on its own even when you don't hold it. One that says quietly, I care about how I walk through the world. You don't need a dozen zippers or compartments you never use. What you need is clarity, a crisp silhouette, soft leather, clean seams, a strap that sits just right without pulling, slumping, or shouting. And the moment you put it on, you'll feel it. Your shoulders lift, your breath deepens. You walk just a little taller because you're no longer hiding in softness, you're standing in grace. Now let's talk about another bag that so many of us rely on, the sporty crossbody. You know the one, it's nylon, lightweight. Lots of pockets, perfect for errands or travel. Easy, practical, but when it becomes your everyday companion, it starts to whisper something else. It says, I'm trying to keep up. It says comfort comes first. And while that might be true, comfort should never come at the cost of your beauty. Those long straps that cut across the body, they draw lines you didn't mean to draw, they press into soft sweaters, they tangle with delicate scarves. They flatten your blouse and sometimes your presence. And in photos, that bag can divide your silhouette in half. Not flattering, not kind, but you don't have to give it up completely, you just have to choose better. Look for a refined crossbody. Leather or vegan leather, a gently curved shape, a slightly wider strap that lies softly on your shoulder. No bouncing, no twisting, no adjusting. Better yet, choose one with options. A canvas strap for your weekend walks, a sleek leather strap for your afternoon lunch. One bag, many moods, just like you. And when it comes to color, let it echo the richness of who you are. Warm taupe, olive green, espresso, soft burgundy, nothing too bright, nothing too trendy. Just hues that feel like home, and let go of all those loud zippers, oversized logos, and plastic buckles. You don't need noise anymore because you've already arrived. Your presence speaks louder than anything you carry. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, that sounds like me, I want to tell you something. You're not behind, you're not off track, you're simply ready to let your outer style match your inner growth, and that is a beautiful place to begin. Before we continue, may I ask something simple? If this message is resonating with you, if you're looking at your handbag a little differently than you were 10 minutes ago, would you leave me a quiet little note in the comments? I read every one, and your story might just be the gentle encouragement another woman needs today. And if this is your first time joining us here at Grace Over 50, I'd love to invite you to subscribe. Every video on this channel is created with care, for women who are done with chasing trends and ready to embrace elegance with depth. And if you'd like this video to reach someone else who might need it, a soft click on the like button is more powerful than you know. Because what we're building here isn't just style, it's sisterhood. Now take a breath and get ready to release a third kind of handbag, one that might have once made you feel confident and bold, but may now be speaking louder than you want it to. Let's continue. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and something about your outfit just doesn't sit quite right, not because it's wrong, But because it's louder than you meant to be, that's what often happens with designer bags. The kind with bold patterns, oversized monograms, or shiny labels you used to love. Maybe still do. Years ago, they gave us something. They made us feel like we belonged. They were a little thrill, a signal of success, a bit of sparkle in a world that often asked us to tone ourselves down. But now, something feels different. That same bold logo that once felt empowering might now feel like it's speaking for you before you have a chance to enter the room. Because here's a truth many women feel but few say out loud. Loud logos don't age with grace. They date you. They tether your outfit and your presence to a trend that may have already passed. And let's be honest. At this stage, you don't need your bag to say anything. You say enough just by showing up. You've earned your confidence the real way, by living, by letting go, by starting over again and again. By standing in rooms where you weren't sure you belonged and staying. So ask yourself gently, does your bag still match the woman you are now? Because if it feels like it's trying too hard, maybe it's time to let it rest. You're not letting go of pride. You're choosing something deeper, something quieter, more refined, more you. Choose a bag that whispers with craftsmanship. That doesn't need a logo to feel luxurious. That rests in your hand like it belongs there. Weighty, well-made, and subtly beautiful. A soft satchel in dove gray, a smooth top handle in saddle brown, a crossbody in oxblood or forest green, no initials, no loud branding, no trends clinging to its seams. Just pure, quiet elegance, the kind that lets you shine. Because here's the secret. The women who walk with the most presence, they often carry the most beautiful bags. That say absolutely nothing. And if you still love designer pieces, of course you do. There's nothing wrong with that, but now you get to choose differently. Choose pieces from brands that focus on form, finish, stitching, silhouette, not just a name. Explore vintage shops, small ateliers, craft makers who design with love, not just label. Let your bag become a reflection of your evolution, not your past identity. Because at this point in life, you don't need a sales tag dangling from your arm. You don't need to prove that you're current or polished or still got it. You've never lost it. You've just grown into a woman whose beauty is built into her bones. And your accessories, they should rise to meet you there. I'd love to know. Have you had a moment where a logo bag felt like too much? Have you ever switched to something simpler and felt more powerful because of it? If so, would you share that with me in the comments? Your words may be the gentle mirror another woman needs. We are never alone in these shifts. Even though sometimes they feel so personal, so small, they're not small, they're symbolic, they're sacred. And if this message has reached a quiet place in you, I'd love to invite you to stay with us. Subscribe to Grace Over 50. Every video is a reflection of who you are and who you're becoming. And if this resonated with you, a simple like lets me know to keep creating in this direction. Because the conversation we're having here is not about handbags, it's about choosing with care, living with alignment, and letting your presence be the most unforgettable thing in the room. Now, take a breath, because in just a moment we'll explore another kind of bag, one that may have felt modern, even elegant when you were in your 30s or 40s, but now, maybe working against the flow of who you are becoming, and you deserve better. Shall we keep going? There was a time when they felt just right. The tiny shoulder bags, the ones that sat snugly beneath the arm. Slim straps, sleek silhouettes, little clasps that clicked with just the right sound. They made us feel chic, modern, a little bold even. They were everywhere: cocktail parties, dinners out, weekend strolls. They tucked neatly under the arm and went with almost anything. We loved them, but just like certain shoes, certain hemlines, some things don't follow us into every season of life. Not because we no longer look good, but because we look different now. In our posture, our rhythm, even our grace has shifted. That tiny shoulder bag that once felt sleek might now feel tight, awkward, too high under the arm, cutting across the bust, throwing off your silhouette in subtle ways you don't notice until you catch your reflection. And something looks unbalanced. If your shoulders have softened, if your frame has changed just slightly over time, That bag doesn't sit the way it used to. It can bunch your blouse, distract from the neckline of your dress, draw attention to places that don't need attention, and crowd the elegance of your natural shape. And because it's small, you end up stuffing it full: lipstick, keys, glasses. A tiny wallet. Suddenly the bag bulges, sags, or loses its form completely. It becomes something you manage, instead of something that supports you. And here's the thing. At this stage, we're not meant to manage our accessories. We're meant to be lifted by them, comforted, honored. You don't have to give up the shoulder bag entirely, but you can choose a version that mirrors the softness and strength of who you are now. A crescent-shaped shoulder bag that curves gently along your waist. A half-moon silhouette that falls just below the bust. Soft, structured, and proportioned to flow with your body, not fight against it. A hobo bag, perhaps. But not the floppy, oversized kind. One made of pebbled leather or rich suede that molds to you, without collapsing into a puddle at your side. Or a small satchel with a short strap, still feminine, still refined, but with enough space for what you actually carry, not what you're trying to squeeze in. Look for finishes that whisper: brushed hardware, clean stitching, a zipper that glides, not clangs, and please avoid chain straps that dig. You deserve comfort and elegance, always both. As for color, let it reflect your quiet richness. Slate blue, soft caramel, ivory, berry, colors that add depth, not drama. And as you explore these new silhouettes, don't think of it as giving something up. Think of it as a return to ease, to flow, to balance. Because the bag you carry should feel like an extension of you, not a reminder of who you used to be, but a mirror of who you are now, and the woman you're still becoming. If you've ever tried on a new shoulder bag and felt that gentle sigh of relief, that sense of, yes, this feels like me, I'd love to hear about it. Your story is more powerful than you know. When we share moments like these, even small ones, we help each other evolve more gracefully. And if you're still carrying that tiny party bag from 20 years ago, and you've been meaning to let it go, this is your permission. Without guilt, without hesitation, just love. Because you're not discarding your memories. You're simply making space for the version of yourself that no longer needs to shrink to fit inside something small. And if this reflection spoke to you, you're always welcome here. You can subscribe to Grace Over 50 to walk with us each week. This space was built for women who are done with shrinking and ready to step into their full, luminous presence. A quiet like or comment lets me know we're walking this path together. And if you found freedom in changing your bag, share that. You never know who needs to hear it, because as you already know, this isn't about handbags. It's about choosing with love, letting go with peace, and standing every day with just a little more ease. And now, as we begin to bring this reflection toward its close, we'll look at one last type of bag. The one made for sparkle, for dazzle, for celebration. That might be ready for a quieter kind of radiance. We'll get to that next. And I promise it's not about losing the light, it's about carrying it differently. There's something undeniably magical about a sparkly bag, the shimmer, the gleam, the way it catches light when you walk into a room, as if it wants to announce your arrival before you say a word. And maybe for a time that's exactly what you wanted. We've all had those evenings, the ones that called for a little glitter, a little glam, a little something that sparkled more than we dared to feel inside. Those tiny clutches covered in rhinestones, sequins, metallic shine. They gave us courage, confidence, a sense of being just dazzling enough. But something changes as we grow older. We begin to understand that elegance doesn't always need to shimmer, because sometimes the most radiant thing in the room isn't your bag, it's you. That clutch you once adored, the one that twinkled like a disco ball, may now feel like it's trying too hard. And maybe you're done trying. Maybe you've stepped into a version of yourself that no longer needs to sparkle to be seen. You're no longer attending the party to be noticed. You're there to be present, to enjoy, to carry yourself with quiet grace, not compete with the lighting. It doesn't mean you have to dim your light. It means you've learned how to let it shine differently. So instead of something that shouts, reach for something that glows. A clutch in velvet, brushed satin, soft suede, muted metallic leather with a gentle sheen. Like candlelight on silk, not a spotlight. A reflection, choose finishes that feel intentional. A single clasp, a sculpted handle. A curved silhouette that rests easily in your hand. You deserve a bag that doesn't scratch your skin or spill its contents when you open it. You deserve one that holds your essentials, yes, but also holds space for who you are now. And let's talk color. Instead of silver that screams, try a soft pewter that hums. Instead of icy gold, reach for antique brass. A deep navy velvet against a navy dress. A soft rose gold beside your warm complexion. These are not safe choices, they are wise ones. They say, I've been there, I've done bold, now I choose balance. Now I choose me. If you've ever picked up a sparkly evening bag lately and put it down again, you're not being too critical. You're evolving, you're listening to your own rhythm now. Not the music of everyone else's expectations. You no longer need to accessorize your worth, it's already known, already felt. And if you're smiling to yourself right now, thinking of that one glittery bag tucked away in your closet, and wondering whether it still belongs in your story, this is your moment of grace. Let it go, not with guilt, not with regret. With gratitude, because it walked with you when you needed it, and now you walk differently. You don't need flash, you don't need noise, you shine in stillness. And if this shift speaks to you, if you've made the quiet decision to carry your elegance rather than wear it, I'd love for you to share it in the comments. You never know who might read your words. And feel permission to do the same. And if you're new here, you're home, you can subscribe to Grace Over 50 anytime. I'll be here every week honoring your journey through beauty, choice, and timeless style. One reflection at a time. Now, as we prepare to close this chapter, there's one last thing I want to remind you of, because at this stage, it's no longer about the bag, it's about what you carry inside you. We'll talk about that together next. There comes a moment in every woman's life when she no longer asks, does this look good on me? She asks, does this feel like me? That moment is freedom. It often arrives quietly, not with fanfare, not with applause, but in the stillness of a morning where you reach for something different, not because it's trendy, not because it was expensive, but because it fits who you are now, better than who you were. And when you let go of that old handbag, that tote that slumped, that crossbody that cut across your body, that logo that tried too hard, that tiny purse that pinched your presence, or that glittery clutch that no longer reflected your light, you're not discarding the past. You're honoring it. You're saying, thank you, you walked with me when I needed you, but I walk differently now. Because you do, you walk with more ease, more stillness, more certainty. You no longer chase attention, you carry presence. And the bag at your side, it shouldn't try to speak louder than you. It should simply walk beside you, not weigh you down, not pull your shoulder, not silence your elegance, but mirror it, support it. It should feel like a quiet nod to everything you've lived through and everything you've let go of. It should remind you that you've already earned your place, that your taste has matured, that you no longer choose what looks expensive. You choose what feels aligned. And sometimes it starts with something as small as your handbag, the one you carry to the grocery store, to your granddaughter's recital, to brunch with a friend, to your quiet afternoon walk, to the doctor's appointment, to the museum, to the life you're living every single day. It's not just a bag, it's a companion, a whisper, a subtle way of saying, I know who I am, and I no longer need to explain it. So if today you feel ready to let go, not all at once, not with pressure, just with love. You don't need permission. But if you've been waiting for a sign, let this be it. You are no longer dressing to be noticed. You are dressing to be yourself. And the woman you are today, she is radiant, she is grounded, she is full of stories no one else could carry. And she is ready, not to follow the crowd, but to lead with quiet beauty. I want to thank you for spending this time with me. If this reflection felt true to you, I'd love to know, what bag have you let go of? And what are you carrying now in your hand and in your heart? Leave a comment if you feel called. You never know whose journey it might gently touch. And if you haven't yet, you are always welcome here at Grace Over 50. You can subscribe anytime, and I'll be here waiting. Each week with more reflections on style, on life, and on the quiet, graceful power of choosing what serves you now. Until then, walk slowly, walk lightly, and carry only what feels like home.